to watch on Parliament Live TV. We now start with questions to Prime Minister. Graham Stringer.
Number one, Mr. Speaker.
Well, hello. Welcome. Welcome
Speaker,
to Prime Minister's Questions with this lemon. I'm just going to get your chat up so I can see what you're saying to me. There we go. Oh, got John Barleycorn saying hello. Hi, John.
He represented the best of Parliament as a devoted champion of his constituency.
This is just the Prime Minister at the moment. At the moment, being the operative words.
As well as the
Hi,
people
Darren.
of
How you
Southend,
doing?
Which now
She's going to be pretending now to actually care about someone or something.
To David's tireless work.
Yeah, she doesn't really care.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others, and in addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Oh yeah, and they'll all say the same thing. You're absolutely useless, out of your depth.
And I share the Prime Minister's sentiments.
Out of your depth.
Spooking the markets and increasing the cost of borrowing, increasing the cost of mortgages was almost certainly
Think Lizzie speaks. Say goodbye to your pension.
Hey,
I don't have a pension. I don't have a mortgage. I really don't have any skin in this game. But I believe it's quite bad. I believe it's
an act
pretty
of
bad.
extreme callousness.
Yes.
Can the Prime Minister reassure
stupidity.
the 11 million private renters in this country that she will carry out the commitment to get rid of fault evictions?
I can.
Oh, what? That's not an answer. That's 2 words, and one of them was a letter. Oh my God.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On a recent visit to the children's ward at York Hospital,
Mr.
I was
Sucky
shocked
Balls.
to learn
Children,
that
cancer in children.
waiting
Go
time
on,
targets
pretend
are the
you care.
same as that of adult patients.
Pretend you care.
So as we know, any delay to treatment for young patients
Is he going to mention
can
children
have
with
a
cancer?
damaging effect on development and their future
Slightly less
prospects.
than politics.
So can I ask the Prime Minister to look at this as a matter of urgency?
Hey, we've only just started, Hayes. Don't worry about it. Can you look into children having cancer because that's a bad thing? And then she's like, yeah, I'll look into that.
At York Hospital,
She doesn't give a shit.
and I'm pleased to say
look, that's a face of someone who does not give a shit.
Friend,
do you know how I know
that
she doesn't give a shit? She doesn't look like she gives a shit because she doesn't give a shit.
We are making sure that people can access treatment as soon as possible.
You are not.
We're delivering record staffing numbers.
No, you're not.
Putting in place record levels of
lies. There were tens of thousands of vacancies in the NHS because of these clowns.
Speaker, can I join with the Prime Minister and her comments about Sir David? She spoke for the whole House when she made those comments, and I know how deeply his loss was felt on the opposite benches, and we extend our best wishes across at this important time. Mr. Speaker, I also want to send my heartfelt condolences to the families of all those who tragically lost their lives in Chrysler last week. Donegal is a special place to me and my family and across this House. The people there are in all of our thoughts. Mr. Speaker, this morning, the Business Secretary toured the TV studios arguing that the turmoil in the markets has nothing to do with her budget. Does the Prime Minister agree with him?
Oh my God. This is like
well, Mr. Speaker,
the shaman
what we
being
have
on
done
the word saying Ebenezer Good's nothing about drugs. Decisive action to destroy our economy.
We're not facing energy bills of £6,000.
Yeah, we're facing energy bills of 2,500. This is nothing to you, but it's like life and death to a lot of us.
6 months. We've also taken decisive action to make sure that
tank
we are
the
not
pound,
facing the highest taxes,
that the highest guilt, the highest interest on guilt in history, I think.
That we protect our economy
and government guilt.
At this very difficult time internationally.
Oh, it's international. That's the problem.
As a result of our action, Mr. Speaker.
Well, yeah, the markets have tanked. The pound has tanked.
We will see higher
millions of people have lost so much, and it looks like pensions are on the ropes.
Avoiding the question.
Ducking
responsibility.
Yeah, as always.
In denial.
Yeah.
No wonder investors have no confidence in her government.
No confidence whatsoever.
And this is why it matters.
Vote of
no confidence. A few weeks ago, Zach and Rebecca from Wolverhampton were all set to buy their first home. Then the government's borrowing spree sent interest rates spiralling, and their mortgage offer was withdrawn. I met them last week. They're back to square one, unable to buy, devastated, sick to the back teeth with excuses and blame shifting. Does the Prime Minister understand why Zach and Rebecca are completely furious with her?
No, because she's thick as pig shit.
Mr. Speaker, the fact is that when I came into office, people were facing energy bills of up to £6,000.
Going on about energy bills again. It's got nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it.
The opposite are shouting.
Unfunded tax cuts. That's what she announced.
Energy price guarantee.
Yeah,
that
what?
Was the major
God, she
part
sounds
of
so
the mini
stupid.
budget that we announced.
It's like each
And
word
Mr.
has to
Speaker,
process separately.
He has refused to confirm
God.
whether or not
It's
he
like-
backs our energy price
It's like
guarantee
booting
for 2
up
years,
Windows
which
3.1.
protects families not just this winter, but next winter.
Oh my God.
What we're seeing, Mr.
This is
Speaker,
painful.
we are seeing
Internet
interest
buffering.
rates
You see the
rising
circle going
globally.
around in her head?
We are doing-
Buffering,
they are
buffering,
rising globally
buffering.
in the face of Putin's appalling war in Ukraine.
Oh, it's Putin's
And what
fault,
we
yeah.
are doing
It's Putin's fault. You
is
did a
helping people
kamikaze
with lower
budget that
stamp
you then
duty,
U-turned
helping
on.
people
Was
with
it a
their
mistake
energy
when you
costs,
did it, or was it a mistake when you did the
reducing inflation
U-turn?
with our energy package and keeping taxes low. And
Windows
I noticed
2.03,
the honourable
said John
gentleman
Barleycorn.
had a Damascus conversion last night when he backed our cut to national insurance.
Oh,
Keir Starmer.
what?
Mr. Speaker, the economy's in turmoil. People are really worried. This is really not the time to descend into absolutely nonsense attacks about last night. There's no point.
Look at her, she doesn't understand. Does net compute.
There's no point trying to hide it.
No flash photography.
Everyone can see what has happened. The Tories went on a borrowing spree, sending mortgage rates through the roof. They are skyrocketing by £500 a month. And for nearly 2 million homeowners, their fixed rate deals are coming to an end next year. They're worried sick, and everybody in this House knows it. They won't forgive. They won't forget, and nor should they. When will she stop ducking responsibility, do the right thing, and reverse her kamikaze budget, which is causing so much pain?
He loves using the word kamikaze
Mr.
budget,
Speaker,
doesn't he?
last night, the Labour Party supported
Oh, right.
down national insurance.
What?
And is he really?
What? One part of it reversing your policy from earlier in the year?
Prime Minister, I'm sorry if the wrong party doesn't, but I certainly do.
I'm just, Mr. Speaker, I'm genuinely unclear about what...
You're generally unclear. Yes, yes, you are. Yes, you said something true. She said something right. She's genuinely unclear. She is. That's what she is. Ah, that just put the cherry on top. I'm genuinely unclear.
World Cup's coming. Don't start it too soon.
Ever
Just
404,
let's hear the
brain not
questions
found.
And certainly the answers, Prime Minister.
Well, Labour are giving it.
Mr.
They're giving it loads of
Speaker,
shit. He's
I'm
actually
genuinely
telling off the
unclear
other side of the House for a change.
As to what the Labour Party's policy is on our energy price guarantee.
What? It's got to do with it. He's not talking about that, you stupid fucking canker blossom.
They want to reverse it, and they want to see people facing energy bills of £6,000. Is that what he's saying?
Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister knows very well that on this side we voted against the national insurance in the first place. She voted for it.
Yeah. And they changed their mind.
Who's doing the U-turn? Honestly. Last week, the Prime Minister was forced to U-turn on her unfunded tax cut for the super wealthy. This week, she's beginning to realise that she needs to extend the windfall tax, one step behind the CEO of Shell. But she's still going ahead with £18 billion of tax cuts for the richest businesses, and they didn't even ask for it. She's still gift-wrapped a stamp duty cut for landlords, just as renters feel the pinch. And she's still holding out tax cuts for those who live off stocks and shares. Why does she expect working people to pick up the bill for her unfunded tax cuts for those at the top?
I notice that the Leader of the Opposition is still not saying whether or not he supports our energy price guarantee.
What? It's not leading with the opposition questions, you fucking lump of foul deformity.
Part of our mini budget.
What?
It's the biggest part of the mini budget. The fact is that all the opposition have said
God, this woman.
is that people should be supported for 6 months. Does he think that in March pensioners should be facing very high energy bills?
As dirt.
Because that's what will happen.
She's just
if
been
he
told to
doesn't
focus on the
support our
energy bills.
price guarantee.
We're not even talking about that. That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
Mr. Speaker, not even attempting to answer the question.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
I gently remind her that the idea of freezing energy bills was a Labour idea, which she then took on.
Yeah.
During her leadership contest, the Prime Minister said, and I quote her exactly, "I'm very clear. I'm not planning public spending reductions." Is she going to stick to that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, you lying sack of bolts.
Look, Mr. Speaker.
Fucking hell.
Mr. Speaker. we are
Not so much
spending-
brain as
we are
earwax, this woman.
spending almost £1 trillion.
Just join the sweariness. Hang on, how's it going on to jet? No, I'm not going till Friday. Friday morning.
2010. What we will make sure is that over the medium term, the debt is falling. But we will do that not by cutting public spending, but by making sure we spend public money well. And the honourable gentleman talks about our spending, which he doesn't seem to support, on the energy price guarantee. But the reality is he can't
Once on a
criticise
dog,
us
that was
on one
smarter than
hand
Truss.
for spending money, on the other
Indeed.
hand claiming we're cutting public expenditure.
Gibbering imbecile.
They can cheer. I hope they listen very, very carefully to that last answer, because other people will listen very, very carefully to it.
Yeah.
Who voted? Who voted for this? Who
Poor bloke
voted for
having to
this? Who
stand
voted for this?
opposite
Not
Theresa
homeowners
Coffey.
paying an extra 500 extra on their mortgages. Who voted this? Not working people paying for tax cuts to the largest companies. Who voted for this? Not even most of the MPs behind her who know you can't pay for tax cuts on the never, never. Yeah. Does she think the public will ever forgive the Conservative Party if they keep on defending this madness and go ahead with a kamikaze budget?
Mr. Speaker,
Madness.
what our budget
Absolute
has delivered
madness.
is secure.
Is the market's fucking failing, you stupid fucking Boyle?
It's made sure that we're
Oh
going
my
to see
God.
higher economic growth, lower inflation and more
You
opportunity.
rambunctious fucking
The way that we
plague
will get our
sore.
country growing
What the fuck
is
are you
through
on
more
about?
jobs,
Your
more
budget
growth,
has
more
delivered
opportunities.
the
Not
pound
through higher
tanking,
taxes,
economy
higher
tanking,
spending, and his
inward
friends in the
investment
media
tanking.
stopping
Do you think that's
hard-working
up?
people
And the
get to
fucking
work.
interest rates on the fucking gilts that your fucking government is
Mr.
spending
Speaker,
billions
to see
on?
growth and jobs in East Cornwall, and I believe an investment zone could help this. Would the Prime Minister back the honourable member for North Cornwall and myself, who are supporting
Who are
a
you
zone
supporting?
for Liscard and Bodmin area?
A zone for what? A zone for what? Yeah, of course.
Well, I
yeah.
want to see
Softball
more
question.
jobs, more opportunities, more homes for
Oh, do
local
you?
people in Cornwall.
Okay, well, why don't you
And that's
fucking
what
resign
my
then, you...
honourable friend is working towards with her colleagues, and I'm delighted we're bringing forward these investment zones that are going to give those opportunities to local people.
We now come to the Leader of the SNP.
Yes! Go on, Ian Blackford, knock him dead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I
Like this
associate
guy.
myself with the remarks of the Prime Minister on the murder of David Amos a year ago, and thoughts and prayers very much with Julia and his family. And of course, we think very much of those in Crestland.
How many MPs have sharpened their knives? Well,
as well.
two-thirds of Tory MPs didn't vote for her.
Public spending commitments today, that she would have said that those that rely on social security benefits will get their benefits uprated in line with inflation. Mr. Speaker, when the Prime Minister last stood at the dispatch box, the average two-year fixed rate mortgage stood at 4.5%.
Our credit rating
They're
has
now
gone
at
down
6.5% and rising, hitting average families with an extra
Mortgages,
£450 a month in mortgage payments every single month over and above what they were paying.
Yeah.
37 days into the job, this is literally the cost of
more.
the Prime Minister's incompetence.
Yeah.
It is the price households are paying, and all because of the
She's so
Chancellor
incompetent.
that she chose.
Oh my
Will
God.
she now give up her desperate plan to save her Chancellor's skin by scapegoating the Governor of the Bank of England?
Mr. Speaker, the action we have taken has meant that families in Scotland and across the United Kingdom are not facing gargantuan energy bills.
We're facing fucking gargantuan mortgage bills. It's been wiped out by the increase in mortgages, which is possibly for a very, very long time, not just for the winter, not just for the Ukraine war.
Energy future for all of our people.
Look at her smirking. She's loving this. She's fucking loving this. Are you loving this? Costing you £450 a month more for nothing.
Mr. Speaker,
For nothing. The interest on the money you borrowed at a much lower rate. Until this fucking clown came along.
Families are now worried not just about heating their homes, but keeping their homes, Prime Minister. The scale of this Tory crisis is frightening.
Heating their homes, keeping their homes.
Households a month are up for mortgage renewals. People can't afford to pay an extra £4,500 a year in interest, and plenty are already
For nothing
falling
more.
behind.
For nothing
The Prime
more
Minister
than what
and
you've
her
already got.
Chancellor have completely lost control. The only thing growing under this government are mortgages, rents and bills. Is that what she really meant when she declared herself a pro-growth Prime Minister?
Well, we have taken action on helping families heat their
She's
homes.
going on about fucking heating again. No, you haven't. You haven't put a windfall tax on it, right? So we're having to pay it out of our taxes for the next 20 fucking years.
Interest rates
Fucking
are
hell.
rising globally.
What a
That is
fucking
fact.
shower.
And
What a
interest rates
shower
are
of
a
shit.
decision for the
These
Independent Bank of
motherfuckers.
England. But I want to do all I can
man.
to help families
just winding
across
me up.
Britain. But the way we're going to help them
That's why I'm not
is
allowed
by
in Parliament.
delivering
I'll be too
economic
sweary.
growth, by
Couldn't
making
put up
sure
with this
we have
nonsense.
the jobs and opportunities
Standing
in
there,
Scotland and right
lying,
across the UK.
patronising,
And what
coming up with
independent
excuses for
forecasters
her
have
own
shown is that following
incompetence.
our intervention,
It's quite
economic
impressive how
growth is going to
incompetent
be
this
higher
woman really
than
is.
It would have been if we hadn't acted. And that is vitally important for the jobs, the opportunities and the livelihoods, and helping make sure people are able to food on the table.
Fortunes on
Mr.
the
Speaker.
table given to me by
The
Shell.
Way navigation winds through the heart of Guildford and is a much treasured part
And now
of
it's
our
full of
local
shit.
environment.
And now it's full of shit thanks to the
I welcome the
Tories.
announcement by the DEFRA Secretary last week that
Yeah.
the Environment Agency will be
We'll be
able to
filling it
increase
full
fines
of poo.
on water companies for serious breaches
The ones
of the
that,
rules
you
to
know,
up
have
to
just been running
£250 million
roughshod over kind
per
of,
breach.
you know, any kind of
Will my right
level of
honourable
basic
friend
decency
confirm
to not
that
dump
no
sewage
MP
into our
voted to discharge
streams, rivers,
sewage into our
canals,
waterways,
coastlines?
and that it is beneath the opposition parties and their activists to keep repeating this outright lie?
What? What?
Well,
What?
my honourable friend is absolutely
Outright
right
lie?
about
What?
our support for cleaner water. And what we're
What,
doing
your
about
support for
it,
cleaner water? We've got the
honourable
filthiest
members asked
beaches in
this
30
position,
fucking
is
years.
We have increased, and my honourable
We've
friend,
told our
honourable
children
friend,
not
the
to swim in the
Secretary,
rivers
has increased
because
the fines
every
for
single
water
river in
companies
Britain is
100
polluted
times.
with human effluent.
Discharge sewage into waterworks in an illegal way.
In an illegal way. No, there's plenty of legal ways to do it.
Thank you,
Fuckhead.
Mr. Speaker. Can I associate my colleagues and I with the remarks made about the tragic events in Creeshla in County Donegal, and our prayers continue to be with that devastated community. Does the Prime Minister agree with me in welcoming the renewed negotiations with the European Union about the Northern Ireland Protocol, that the outcome of those negotiations must reflect the objectives outlined by the government in the Northern Ireland Protocol bill, and that this is the key to unlocking the door to political stability in Northern Ireland?
Installment. They're standing there saying, no, we're not going to do
Well,
it.
I very much agree with the honourable gentleman. We need to deliver for the people of Northern Ireland.
Fucking say
That
deliver
means
again.
making sure
Say
we have
deliver
free flow of
again,
trade,
motherfucker!
East-west as well as north-south. It means making sure that the people of Northern Ireland
I need one of those
can benefit
buttons, you
from
know,
the
you
same
press it and it
tax
does like a little
benefits as people
audio clip.
in Great Britain.
Can have
And
Samuel
it
L.
means
Jackson
resolving
saying
the
that.
issues over governance and regulation. Now, I would prefer to achieve that through a negotiated solution.
Energy
with
bills
EU,
are still way more
but if
expensive
we're
than
not
last
able
year,
to do
even
that,
after
we
the energy
can't
support
allow
team.
the
Yeah,
situation to
ours is
drift.
at least
We
twice
have
as
to
much as it
proceed
was
with
this
the
time
Northern
last year.
Ireland Protocol Bill.
Mary Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Addressing health inequalities is a key part of levelling up, and so I welcome this week's news of £50 million to fund research into health disparities. We know poor health affects not only life expectancy, but also prosperity and more widely economic resilience and growth. Therefore, would my right honourable friend consider a future expansion of these research schemes to other parts of the North and the Greater Manchester region to encourage more healthcare research partnerships between our great universities and our local authorities?
Basically 3 Tories in a row there.
Well, my honourable friend is absolutely right that this health research is vitally important. I know that my right honourable friend, the Health Secretary, is looking at whether and where
she's so out of her
can
depth.
be expanded, and we will be doing further commissioning rounds to look at that issue.
I mean, Theresa May, she was the Maybot, and at least she sounded like she knew what she was talking about. Maybe she didn't, but she sounded. Just doesn't even sound like she knows what she's on about.
That were there appear to be singing from a different song sheet. Prime Minister, your government is now outrageously flirting with disaster, financially and socially. As we've just heard, the increase in mortgage repayments will dwarf the rise in heating bills. How will you cope with the resultant increase in homelessness?
I don't think I'm responsible as you, but I'm sure the Prime Minister will take that on board.
Well, Mr. Speaker, what we have done as a government is we've acted decisively
the economy,
to deal with the very severe energy crisis
decisively in delivery.
We are facing a severe energy crisis.
That you're fucking created. We've got no gas storage. We only get a small proportion of our fucking gas from fucking Russia. And we're free to uncouple our prices of our gas from all the other suppliers of energy, like renewables, but we've chosen not to for some fucking reason.
Prime Minister, the energy price guarantee is a key part of the
another
growth plan,
Tory.
but too few businesses and households know about it, even if the Labour Party don't support it.
Fucking years of inbreeding this
to
one.
have a nationwide mail-out campaign to communicate what the government is doing to
I don't know who
assess
Phil
people
Saville
on
is, I'm afraid,
reduction
Francis.
of energy, and more
What they
particularly
inherited.
have a reduction of energy.
They're so
campaign by
smug,
the
says
public
Richard
service,
Patrick
so that we
McCarthy,
don't
indeed.
go down the route of spending too
Need
much
you
on
as a sweary
consumption
MP
when
getting thrown
reducing
out of
supply.
PMQs on a regular basis. You're a fucking liar!
My right honourable friend,
Liar!
and I know the Energy Secretary is working on a plan
this
to
little chop
help
suey thing. What's she doing
companies
here? Fucking-
and individuals use
Chop,
energy more efficiently. We're also working on this.
Oh God,
across
Reese Mogg.
government. I was delighted
Giant
to
Mogg.
speak to my
Everyone's
friend
watching this on a
yesterday,
big telly.
And I hope we'll be able to start this going in number 10 straight away.
I hope someone flushes you down the toilet.
Mr. Speaker. During the lockdown, we clapped them.
Ian
Namely,
Lavery.
wreaths for healthcare staff who had died on the front line. And how quickly our nurses have gone from the country's heroes to this government's villains. Offered a derisory 72 pence a week pay rise and then painted as militants for daring, having the audacity for balloting for industrial action for the first time in a century. Prime Minister, claps don't pay the bills, and neither does 72 pence pay rise. Nurses are leaving the NHS and the droves feeling abandoned.
Bit of a
by
crow's
this
nest
government.
above them all.
Surely,
That'd be quite cool,
surely
actually.
even the Prime Minister agrees that the
yourself a
government
hat
has
for
its
Monkey
priorities wrong. When unshackling the bonuses of the bankers and at the same time offering derisory pay rises to our treasury. NHS staff.
Welcome to Piratey PMQs with me, the fearsome Captain Graham Barbarossa of the high
The
seas.
figures he's quoting are simply wrong. The independent pay review body recommended a £1,400
Lies.
rise on
Yeah,
average,
what?
and that is what the
Yeah,
government's committed
really?
to delivering.
Okay. Right.
Natalie Alfie.
Oh God, this is
Following
the
the loss
Dover
of
woman married to a
27
sex
lives
offender.
last winter in the Channel,
And she
the
replaced
UK government
the old
offered
Elphick.
joint
She
patrols
replaced him.
to the French
Mad
on the
Brexiteer.
beaches.
Mad Brexit here. I'll vote for Brexit and you'll stop illegal immigration. And that didn't happen, did it, Natalie? You daft fucking prune.
No fresh agreement unless they agree to
Fucking all the lorries going into Dover and all the lorry drivers shitting at the side of the road. That's your legacy. 100 tons of human feces at the side of the M20.
Committed to
Natalie L.
dealing
Thicko.
with this very, very difficult issue of the small boats in the channel. We do need to sort it out. We're committed to legislating.
We had a thing in place with the French that we could take them back to France, but then we left the EU,
with the French
didn't we, you daft
I
clown?
did discuss it with President Macron last week, and the Home Secretary is following up.
Owen Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, this Friday, Christine Graham, MSP, and I are hosting a community drop-in event on the cost of living crisis in Gorebridge. This will be a chance for local residents to come and meet with a range of partners to get advice and guidance on what they can do to help survive the current crisis. Could I extend an invite to the Prime Minister to come to this event on Friday so that my constituents could ask her directly what real-life experience
Hayes is pointing out how much coffee looks like Garbodor from Pokemon.
She could apologise to them for the
she's
disastrous
the
decisions
trash
the government are
Pokemon.
making.
Literally a Pokemon made of garbage.
I
You got
completely
Trubbish
understand
that evolves into
families are
Garbodor. She's
struggling, and that is
evolved
why
Trubbish.
This government acted
Don't ask me how I know this.
within a week of coming into office to put in place the energy price guarantee so people aren't facing £6,000 bills. And that's why we've reversed the increase in national insurance. That's why we're cutting basic rate tax to make sure families are keeping more of their own money. And we're also making sure that the most vulnerable households
She's like patting a
get
small
an
dog,
extra
or maybe a big
£1,200
dog, because I guess
of
she's standing
support.
up.
I hope
There,
he
boy.
is going to
Oh, now she's
communicate
pointing.
that to his constituents.
Shouldn't point. Shouldn't point. You lose your argument.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I first thank the Prime Minister for her warm words on Sir David
The
Amess
inflatable
this
pirates.
place.
Don't have an inflatable
Small and
pirate.
medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of our
Do
economy,
have an inflatable
and
parrot.
I warmly welcome the expansion
Who
of
the
the small
fuck is this
business
guy?
threshold.
Fuck off, Tory.
Does my right honourable friend agree that only the Conservative Party is on the side of enterprise and their determination
Unless you're an exporter, or importer, or in business, or an investor,
We understand
or someone
in the
looking for,
Conservative
I don't
Party
know, a bit of common
who
sense.
pays our wages. And it's the people who get up every day and go to work. It's the businesses who set up. Those are the people driving our economy, and we will be unashamedly pro-growth, pro-business and pro-opportunity.
Rosie Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituents were absolutely delighted that the fracking application in West Lancashire was withdrawn after a moratorium was declared. Since then, we've not seen any new scientific evidence that indicates fracking would now be safe. So, despite this, the government have decided to reverse that moratorium, committing to grant fracking licences only in areas that have local consent. So I would be grateful if the Prime Minister would reassure West Lancashire residents, my
This is
constituents,
really difficult to get this in
and
before
please
it
explain
plays,
in
Speaker.
detail how she will honour her
enough,
statement that fracking licences, none of them will be forced on communities that don't want it.
Yeah, go on, crack off.
Well, first of all, can I offer my best wishes to the Honourable Lady
I don't know how I'm going to
on
attach
her
this to my
appointment
shoulder when I
as
play
the
Monkey
chair of
Island.
the Merseycare
I might have
NHS
to take some
Trust.
gaffer tape with me.
I can absolutely assure her and colleagues around the House that fracking will only go ahead in areas where there is local community support.
Where's that going to be? The nation of NIMBYs, you daft
2 weeks
prune.
ago, a bomb in Afghanistan killed 35 girls and young women. They were Hazaras from the country's second largest ethnic minority who are being massacred under the Taliban. Today, outside Parliament, Hazaras from across the UK, including from my constituency, are gathering, calling for international support to stop the slaughter. And we're joined here today by representatives of the Hazara Council of Great Britain. Will my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, support the Hazaras in trying to stop the killings and arrange for her ministers to meet their representatives?
Well, it is extremely concerning what is taking place in Afghanistan.
Not that you're going to do
and I'm
anything
afraid
about
the
it.
reversal
Don't even know where Afghanistan
of
is.
women's rights and women's opportunities.
Your
And
government
one of the
oversaw
things we have done is
scramble
make
out
sure
of
we're
Afghanistan.
restoring the aid budget for women and girls.
How are you?
And I'm sure my
I
friend,
believe that you're cutting the aid budget.
Be very happy to
I believe
meet
that you're
the group
cutting
and
the
discuss further.
aid budget for overseas aid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government's botched budget gave unfunded tax cuts to some of the richest companies, whilst across the country there are hospitals who worry that their roofs might collapse at any moment. Hitchinbrook Hospital, Frimley Park Hospital and Queen Elizabeth Hospital in the Prime Minister's own local area. These are just three of a number of hospitals who need hundreds of millions of pounds, some of them urgently. So will the Prime Minister promise that every affected hospital will be given the money they need to fix these dangerous roofs in the next 12 months?
Well, I do want to correct the Honourable Lady.
Oh, God, what?
Because what we are doing is simply not putting up corporation tax. It's not a tax cut. We're just not raising corporation tax. And I feel it would be wrong in a time when we are trying to attract investment into our country.
It would be wrong to try and help
at a
people.
time of global
It would be wrong to try and help
slowdown,
companies.
to be raising
Small
taxes.
businesses.
Because
What
it
you
will
want to do is you want to help the
bring
big
less revenue in.
businesses. You want to
And
help
the way that we are
Amazon. You want to
going
help
get the money
Starbucks.
to
That's who you
fund
really
our
want to
National
help.
Health Service,
Probably
the
because
way
they
that
pay
we're
you a
going
lot.
to get money to fund our schools is by having a strong economy with companies
Captain
investing
Flint.
and creating
The
jobs.
parrot's called Captain Flint.
What
happened then?
Someone
just went, rah, rah.
Agenda, Prime Minister. Would she agree with me that this can be achieved whilst also protecting and restoring our precious nature and ecosystems
Is her
and
brooch
working with
a
our
lizard?
farmers
Is it a lizard
so that we
brooch?
do meet our legally binding target to restore nature by 2030? I know she understands this. She has precious talk streams in her own constituency. And will she agree that if we get this right, there will be more jobs, skills, opportunities, because every nation in the world depends on its natural environment?
Pork markets! Pork markets!
My honourable
pork markets! Pork markets! Pork markets!
The natural environment when she was
You don't give a shit about the natural environment. You want to frack. You think the worst thing ever is solar panels. You want to continue the moratorium on wind turbines on land in the UK. Your party put in place. Pork markets, that is a disgrace. Fund our schools. We also fund private schools. Yeah. I've been wrong about private schools. I thought it was $1 billion that they dodged in tax each year. It's actually $3 billion. $3 billion pounds they steal from state schools.
Chancellor said that those calling for fracking's return misunderstand the situation and that no amount of shale gas will be enough to lower the European price anytime soon. So, Prime Minister, is the Chancellor wrong about that?
Right now.
We are pulling every lever
We're all
to improve our
pulling
energy
your
supply
leg.
in Britain.
We are
Whether
taking the
it's-
piss.
Whether it's the North
We're
Sea
taking the mick.
and opening up more
We're
opportunities
going to burn more fossil fuels. The quicker we destroy the planet for the future, the better.
Whether it's more
The Tories
solar panels
are
in
the
right
death
place,
of this
whether it's
country.
more nuclear power
The
stations,
destruction of the future with the
proposed by
Tory
SNP.
party.
We are doing everything we can because we can never be in a situation
More
again
cheese,
where we are
grommets.
dependent on authoritarian regimes for our energy.
Plumdore says it makes you really angry. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The government needs to be gone.
Over the
Absolutely
past week,
100%.
serious safeguarding failures by the
What?
children's charity Mermaids have come to light. Revelations
Oh God,
the
here we
charity
go.
sent breast
Transphobia.
devices to young girls behind their parents'
Transphobia. Here
back,
we go.
promoted harmful medical
This is
and
going to be
surgical procedures to
gender
children,
critical turfiness.
hired a trustee with links to paedophile organisations.
You're from
and a
Penis
digital
Stone, mate.
digital
Literally a place
engagement
called
manager
Penis
who
Stone.
posted pornographic images online,
place called Penis Stone? Did
including
anyone
of
know that?
himself dressed as a schoolgirl. For years, despite whistleblowers raising alarm, Mermaids have had unfettered access to vulnerable
Unfettered
children.
access to... No,
Does
they
my
haven't.
right honourable friend agree that
With
it's taken
any
far
children
too
being
long for these
abused.
concerns to be taken
What?
seriously? And does she also
You're just a
agree
transphobe.
that it is
You're
high
just-
time for
you're
a
just a
police
transphobe.
investigation into the activities
God.
of Mermaids and its staff?
Jesus Christ.
It's very important that under 18s
that
are able to
lies are not blown
develop
out of
their
proportion.
own decision-making capabilities and not be forced into any
No one's
kind
being
of
forced into
activity.
anything,
And what I would
Truss.
say on the subject of
No one is
the
being forced
investigation
into
she
anything.
raises, of course
Okay,
those
great.
matters
Let's
should
ban
be raised
circumcision.
and should be properly looked
Let's
at.
ban circumcision now. Let's ban it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. For my constituents in Richmond Park and for communities across
Babies don't
South
ask
West
for it,
London,
do they?
from Wimbledon to Elmbridge, any expansion of Heathrow would be disastrous. A third runway would see over 6 million more tonnes of carbon pumped into the atmosphere every year,
Wow.
and 2 million households affected by increased noise levels.
Oh,
Last
and
week, the
asthma.
Transport Secretary
Increased
said she
asthma
supported
levels.
Heathrow expansion. The Prime Minister has previously stated she would support a fourth runway. So, does the Prime Minister stand by her previous comments, or will she rule out government support for construction of a third runway at Heathrow?
Well, I absolutely agree with what the Transport Secretary said in
Boris
her
Johnson going to
comments.
lie down
And
in front of a
what we need to
bulldozer
do
or
is
something?
make sure that industries like the air industry
Human form of
become
wet
more
concrete.
environmentally friendly.
Badly mixed
I
concrete.
support the
Cheers.
development of low carbon technology in those sectors.
Except for
That's the
solar
way
panels
we will
in
help
fields. That's
grow
the
the
worst thing.
economies,
That's
but
literally
also
the worst
serve the
thing ever.
environment.
You think that's the worst thing
Virginia
ever?
Crosby.
Your Home Secretary thinks that her dream is to deport innocent women and children to
Thank
another
you, Mr.
country,
Speaker.
an
I'm
autocratic
delighted to
regime
hear
in the middle of
Prime Minister,
Africa.
be such a champion for nuclear. My question is, when will the mission and plan for Great British Nuclear be announced? The market needs
Why
the
do the
confidence
Welsh-
to invest
why
in,
do the
in new
Welsh
nuclear,
vote
like Wilbur in my constituency of Arnos
Why would
to
you do
help
that?
us achieve net zero for our energy security and to get thousands of high-quality
No,
jobs.
no net zero. No net zero.
Well, I
We
can
want to
tell
pump
my
out as
honourable
much
friends
fracked
that
gas
Great
as we
British
can.
Nuclear will be set up this
Oh.
year.
It will
and
be set
will
up.
be
It takes
bringing
10
forward
years to
new
build a
nuclear
fucking nuclear
projects.
plant.
I'm delighted about her
What?
support for Wilfer.
And where are we going to get the
and to
uranium
make
from?
sure
It's not
that we
naturally
have
occurring in the
nuclear
UK.
power
How is that
provided in Wales.
self-sufficient?
I'd just like to see it right across the United Kingdom too.
Oh, fuck off.
Western.
Thank you, Mr.
Britannia
Speaker. Very
unbrained.
welcome
I
her
like
to her
it.
place.
I like it.
I'm not
Big take.
sure how you measure a good honeymoon, Mr. Speaker. But after 5 weeks
Johnson promised a
of
nuclear power
crisis
station a year.
conceived in Downing
Every year
Street,
promised a
crashing
nuclear power
pensions,
station.
interest rates
So he's gonna
rising,
actually build it.
mortgage market turmoil, and complete financial
Motions
chaos,
catchphrase Brexit,
the
Brexit,
country has
Brexit.
been left
Liz Truss catchphrase growth,
wanting
growth, growth.
divorce.
Both haven't worked.
In 2 recent polls, 60% of this country want an immediate general election.
Yes, yeah.
The Prime Minister claims she's in listening mode. Will she give way to the public?
Mr. Speaker, I think the last thing we need is a general election.
No, it's the first thing we need, mate. The fucking first thing we need, because we need to get rid of you and all your clown mates. Coward. Coward.
Concludes Prime Minister's question.
Right, that's it.
Let the people leave.
Let the people leave. Bye-bye, knobheads. Ah, and they cut the sound, so I'll just leave that there. Okay, thank you for joining me for this Prime Minister's question. This is only the second one with Liz Truss, although it seems like there should have been more for some reason, but that was only the second one. Plum Duff is saying, David, some mistakes are bigger than others. Indeed. And Hayes is pointing out we grow concrete, so why not uranium? Lol. Indeed. We don't have any uranium supplies that we know of in the UK. And the little amount of coal and gas and stuff that we have under the ground is because Britain is such an ancient island. Great Britain is such an ancient island. Don't forget, the Pennines used to be higher than the Himalayas. You know, there's been a lot of turnover of the rocks. You know, you've got 3 types of rock, haven't you? You've got sedimentary, which is the bottom of the sea, which is pressed down by, you know, it's sand bits, you know, I don't know, coral getting crushed under great waves, which turns eventually into stone. Then you've got igneous, which is just dried. Well, I guess it is dried. It is magma, basically, that's petrified. And then you've got metamorphic, and we've got a lot of metamorphic rock in the UK, which is rock that was rock, and it's kind of changed over time because pressure and heat and things like that. So it didn't turn into lava and then turn back. And we've got a lot of metamorphic rock. We've got a lot of old stuff under under the ground, which makes it so there's not like a nice thick seam of coal that hasn't already been plundered that stretches for miles. It stretches for a few hundred meters, and then it'll split. It'll go lower or something. And we have this pockets of gas. Look, I'm not a geologist. I've had this explained to me by geologists who know a lot more about this kind of thing than I do. But essentially, the UK is shit for getting fossil fuels out of. All the tin has been taken away from our mines as well. The tin mines down in Cornwall, they've been exhausted. And the gold that we once had on this island were taken by the fucking Romans. So, you know, there's not much left in terms of natural resources. What Britain used to have in terms of natural resources was you and me and, you know, people who were smart and knew what they were talking about. We were the natural resource of the country. But the Tory government, 12 years of them, had just beat us into submission, and most of us want to leave. Most of us want to leave this country because the last 12 years have been such an absolute shit show. One event after the other of just demoralising fucking behaviour by a government that does not give a fuck about you, about me, about our children, about our parents. They don't give a fuck about anything except feathering their own fucking nests and lining their own pockets. And so here we are. We're an island with fuck all in terms of natural resources that we can dig up from the ground. However, we've got loads of wind. Got a load of fucking hot air coming out of Tory MPs, but we have a lot of wind. But the Tories for years have had a moratorium on building onshore wind farms because they spoil the view, apparently. Do you know what spoils the view? Fucking living in the apocalypse. That's going to spoil the view quite a lot. You know, 50-degree summers. That's going to spoil the view quite a lot. The dead people on the streets as you walk to work. That's going to spoil the view, don't you think? But, you know, that's all to come when we're having to face 50 million people trying to get into the country on small boats because where they live is uninhabitable, rendered uninhabitable by our greedy use of fossil fuels, which Liz Truss seems to want to continue doing. She took no responsibility for that. She took no responsibility for what she's done to the economy. She took no responsibility for the absolute calamity of her premiership. I mean, even The Economist was having a go at her today. The Economist, which is like a august periodical, and they were saying that she had the shelf life of a fucking lettuce. A lettuce! They were comparing the Prime Minister to lettuce. This isn't John Crace or Marina Hyde or someone, you know, like some comedy sketch writer. No, this is The Economist going, what is she doing? She destroyed investment. She destroyed the economy. She destroyed the pound. What's she waiting for? What more carnage does she need to invoke before she U-turns again on her absolutely insane micro budget with her dickhead mate, bloody Kwasi Kwarteng, who still works as far as we know for Kristen Odious O'Day, who's made millions, over 150 million pounds he's made from shorting the pound, from shorting your children's futures. And these cunts are still in charge, you know, and they're not going anywhere. You heard her. She's not going anywhere. 60% of the country want a fucking general election, and she's like, that's the worst thing we could possibly do. No, the worst thing for her to possibly do, the best thing for the country, but she puts her needs and her party's needs in front of the electorate, in front of the country, in front of just common decency, because this is what they do. This is what they do. Fucking Tories. Just going to stop there because HK has dropped £10 in the super chat. Thank you so much, HK, saying thanks as always. Thank you very much, HK. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to be going off in a minute. I'm not going to stay on for the full hour. I've got a really bad headache, and why have I still got my headphones? I've got a really bad headache at the moment, and yeah, that's why I've got this big thing of water. That I should have been drinking more of. I had a couple of Anadin before I came on, so I kind of just want to lie down. And I think that, you know, if you're already feeling a bit then having to listen to Liz Truss's lies and these fucking MPs lying, standing up and asking a softball question about, you know, people are saying we're doing nothing about the shit in the rivers, but we are doing stuff about the shit in the rivers, aren't we, Liz? And Liz just stands up, yes, we're definitely doing something about shit in the rivers. Yeah, they're putting more shit in the fucking rivers. That the illegal dumping so they're making it so you can put more in legally. That's great. That's a great way to deal with illegality, is just make it legal. Why can't they do that with drugs? No, drugs are going to be made even more illegal. So if you're caught with, a joint, you could face 7 years in jail. Fucking hell. That's almost as bad as snapping the finger off a £5,000 statue of some, guy who worked for Boris Johnson when he was mayor. Apparently there's 5 statues or 6 statues of some random bloke around London because his partner was in another position of basically deciding where statues go. So and he died. So they said, oh, let's put loads of statues of my partner everywhere in London. And it's like, really? We're doing this? This is what we're spending public money on? Fuck me. Anyway, Happy Guinea Pig Awareness Day, everyone. I was not aware that it was Guinea Pig Awareness Day, but thank you, Jacob, for letting us know. All we can do is stick together and help each other. Yes, Plum Duff, and that's why it's so important to have you guys on the messages here talking, and people on Twitter and people on all the YouTubers and TikTokers and stuff, just because we need to know that we're not going mad. You know, we're not the crazy ones, because you get... We've had 12 years of constant gaslighting, constantly, from the media, from the Tory party, from the Brexit party, from Nigel Farage and all those fucking cunts saying, oh, do you know what the real problem is? It's this, it's that, it's trans people, it's migrants, it's broke people, it's people coming over here and stealing our jobs and using our NHS. We need to get rid of them. Okay, we'll get rid of them. Oh no, there's no one to staff the NHS anymore. We've got no doctors, we've got no nurses. Oh no, we've got no vets to work in our abattoirs, so we're going to have to burn all this fucking, all of these pigs because we can't afford to feed them and keep them alive, so we're just gonna have to burn them and import our fucking bacon from Denmark. Yeah! Everything that these fuckers touch turns to shit. It's like this reverse Midas touch. Just a little, put their finger on something, it just turns to shit. They're ruining everything. They're ruining our country. And the fact that they're saying no to an election, of course they're saying no to an election. They've seen the polls, as the rest of us have, that have seen Keir Starmer and the Labour Party consistently between 25 and 30% ahead in the polls. Fuck me, that's shut the left wing of Labour up, hasn't it? Wow, woohoo! Those people have all shut the fuck up now, which is about right. You know, it's taken a bit too long, but you know, we got there in the end. The only thing I'll say about this new PMQs is at least I don't have to listen to Boris Johnson's fucking voice anymore. I mean, Liz Truss is annoying and she's vacuous and I hate her, but Boris Johnson's voice... someone described Rees-Mogg as having the most punchable voice in British politics, and I agreed with them. But I think that Boris Johnson's pretty up there as well. It's a very, very close second. I also hated Jeremy Corbyn's voice as well. Those times when it was Jeremy Corbyn up against Boris Johnson and it was like... And it was just like, oh my God, what are these two posh, out of touch, scruffy arseholes fucking talking about? I don't know, but it's giving me a fucking migraine. That's all I can say. The sound of their voices is giving me a fucking migraine. So at least that's gone. At least that has gone. That period of British politics has now passed. But look into the future. Brexit has destroyed Britain's future. That's what it's done. And 17.4 million people voted for this, knowing that it would damage the country. Many of them polled afterwards, asked if they would take an economic hit to make Brexit happen. They said yes. Millions of people asked, well, on a survey, so, you know, you extrapolate, but like millions of people worth of Brexit voters saying that they would be happy to see one of their close family members lose their fucking job and therefore lose their house, I guess, maybe lose their access to their children even. For Brexit. They're happy to lose Northern Ireland. They're happy for Scotland to go its own way in pursuit of Brexit, because Brexit to these people is everything. It's absolutely everything. And this still goes on now when people call up the radio and try and make excuses for the Tories. At least they got Brexit through. Brexit ain't going to keep you warm during the winter, Gladys. Brexit will not keep... It won't pay your fucking bills, Gladys. And now people are panicking because their mortgages have gone up 6% now. 6%. That's average, by the way. There's higher mortgages out there because some people don't have great credit history or they're young or whatever. Up to 10%. 10% fucking mortgages. Are you kidding me? And these old twats go, oh, but in the 1970s it went up to 16%. Yeah, on a fucking mortgage that was 40 grand, mate. That's a percentage of a much smaller figure. Fuck me, and the amount that your house cost was only about 3 times, if that, of the amount of the average household was taken in a year. Now it's like 10 times. It makes a fucking difference. Yeah, but we had to scrape them, so you have to too. I hate those fuckers. I really hate people who go, oh, well, it was hard for me, so I'm glad we're making it hard for your children. I want your children to fucking suffer. And you see grandparents saying this about their own fucking grandkids? How sadistic. That's fucking child abuse. Oh, well, you know, I had to grow up in a cold house and I saw all my siblings fucking die of frostbite and scrofula and rickets, but so you should too. Imagine being a grandparent or a parent who wants their kids to thrive. Not just survive, thrive, to live, to achieve, to enjoy their fucking time on this planet. But no, there's 17.4 million people on this fucking island. And I'm going to keep it at that number because I know a few of them didn't vote. I know a lot of them have died by now, but there's ones who didn't vote, and they would have voted for Brexit if they could. They supported it afterwards. Who this is what they want. This is the future that they wanted. A government that's not in control. An economy that's on the fucking skids. The biggest tax burden ever in human history that is going to be in British history that's going to be loaded onto us and the next generation and the generation after that, thanks to these unfunded tax cuts and this absolute mullering of the fucking economy that these bastards in charge have done. It is remarkable. It is remarkable. Not just that so many people wanted this and were warned that this would happen, and they said that is a price I'm willing to pay. And effectively saying, that's a price you're going to have to pay as well, Graham. Everyone watching this, now at 100, Ernie Burns, David, Freckle Puny, HK, all of yous, that's a price you've got to pay as well. And I'm like, I don't want to pay that price. That's too high a price for me to lose my freedom, for me to lose my ability to live and work and retire in 31 other countries. I've lost that fucking freedom because some cunts took it away from me. And don't give me all this, don't be ageist, Graham. Look, the fact remains, if you meet someone over the age of 50 who's a massive homophobe or a massive fucking racist, it's not that surprising, is it? You kind of expect it. But if you meet someone under the age of 40 who's a massive racist, it's a bit of a shock. That's very telling. That's very, very telling, because there's a generation gap. There is a massive generation gap. And these fucking boomers who are hanging on and destroying the future for the younger generations, going, oh, I'm old and wise now. No, you're not, Grandad. They put fucking lead in the pipes. They put lead in your paint. They put fucking lead in your fuel. And your brain has fucking addled over the years. The years haven't given you wisdom. They've given you prejudice. The years haven't given you some unique insight into the world because you've never seen the fucking world. You stayed in your house and you read the fucking Daily Mail, dripping poison into your eyes every day, little droplets of poison, until you're just so twisted inside that you want your grandchildren to fail in life. And honestly, I mean, I keep trying to hold on to like little bits of hope along the way that things will get better, but it's like, it can't get worse. It can't get worse than Cameron, and then we had May. It can't get worse than May, and then we had fucking Boris Johnson. It can't get worse than Boris Johnson, and now we've got Liz Truss. The only thing I'll say in defence of my particular stance back in the day when Boris Johnson was still Prime Minister, that we need to get rid of him because his successor couldn't rely on their personality in order to force their bullshit through onto people, con people. You know, you've got no one else that on that team who is a natural con artist in the way that Boris fucking Johnson is. And so any successor to Johnson would have to sink or swim based on their policy decisions. And oh my God, Liz Truss was barely in office before she absolutely sunk herself and her stupid cunting party with her terrible policy decisions. Her and Kwasi Kwarteng, the fucking disaster capitalists. And who's living the disaster? We are. We are, ladies and gentlemen. Right, I'm going to tidy up now and say ta-ra. HK, it's scary how many people missed that toss of Boris. I know, but like that's what I mean. That's why he was so dangerous, because people liked him. People liked him no matter what, which was depressing. Victorian Dad from the Viz. Yeah. Well, that's Jacob Rees-Mogg, isn't it? Him and Raffles, the gentleman thug. Looks like the channel has been shadow banned. Can't find this live stream on PC or my other phone. Shit. Well, how did you find it, QA Library? That sounds sucks. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. At this point in time, recession, energy price increases, cost of living crisis, memory is to the Tories' disadvantage. Yeah. Don't forget, Kwasi met with Saudi Arabian officials in private. He did, Don Donovan. He did. Yes, he did. He absolutely did that and said that he didn't. He didn't put it onto his official roster. That was back in January this year. The guy's a creep. The guy is a fucking creep. He is a criminal. He should be in fucking jail. Nearly all the Tories should be in jail for their white-collar crimes. That's what they are. They're white-collar criminals who have price... if they were working for a company and they cost that company £65 billion, a lot of which they gave to their rich mates, they would be done for embezzlement. They would be done for all kinds of fraud. I mean, they would be in serious fucking jeopardy of spending the rest of their life in jail if they work for a private company, but they don't. They work for us. And, well, how are they supposed to know that this kamikaze budget that was told to them by the Office of Budget Responsibility that it would be a fucking disaster before they did it, and then they went ahead and did it, and it was a fucking disaster? How are they supposed to know, other than they were literally told that it would be a fucking disaster? Anyway, tomorrow I'm heading off to Ginger Island, slowly but surely. It's going to take me a few days to get there, because obviously we're taking the slow boat. And so I should be arriving on Sunday. And then in the week, I will be on the island the whole time, and I'm hoping to do a couple of live shows, and I will be doing a chat with Marcus, who came over with me last year, all shorts. So I'll be showing him how the island is looking a year on from when we were last there, and what's still working and what's not. So look out for that next week. And also, I will be heading over to Twitch at some point to play Return to Monkey Island on my island in the Caribbean, somewhere in the Caribbean. So if you want to tune into that, please look out for it as well. I'll try and advertise it, and what I'll do is I'll put a post on YouTube saying this is going to happen, and a link to the Twitch channel so you can watch it there. That was a year ago. It was, Hayes. It was a year ago, as Facebook keeps reminding me. Putin is the one I blame most for the new rise of fascism. Ernie, I completely agree with you. He has funded it more than any other world leader, and he has put things in place to ensure that Brexit happened, to ensure that Trump happened, to ensure that Marine Le Pen got so far in the presidential election in France, and I'm sure he's behind the rise of the fascists again in Italy. Because you know what? It went so well last time, Italy. Last time you elected a fascist. Last time you put a fascist in charge, it went so well. How many Italians died? 500,000, you say? What was that? 500,000 Italians died violent deaths last time you tried this? Oh, cool. Let's do it again. Maybe we can beat that number this time, you fucking dicks. The people who voted for the fascists, not all Italians, obviously. You can't judge a country by the actions of its government, but you can be a little bit judgmental about the actions of their electorate. Hashtag just saying. Have you updated the showers? I don't know. Oh, what? Yes, there's a new shower. We finished that. We got a hot shower in there. So that should be good. I'm planning to do a little bit of work while I'm over there. I've got some walls to paint and a few little things to do around the island just to make it a little bit safer for when people stay there. But we really did last time. We just ran out of time. And I think Marcus and I were both shocked at just how long it took to do anything. And it wasn't because me and Marcus were sitting on our asses doing nothing. I mean, you saw it. We live streamed the whole thing. We were working our asses off nearly all the time, every day, except when we went on a pirate ship a couple of times. But apart from that, it was a lot of hard work. And then by the end of it, it was great to look back and go, wow, the house has been completely regenerated almost. But there was a lot of other stuff that we wanted to get on with while we were over there that just fell by the wayside. We just didn't have time to do it in the end. But I want to say a big thank you to everyone who helped out with the restoration of Ginger Island. And please, if you ever want to go and stay there and you were one of the people whose name is up on the wall in Ginger Island or on the walkway, get in touch with me, because I basically can stay there for free. I won't be able to pay for your flight over there, but if you're in Panama, if you want to go over to Panama, you'll be given VIP treatment. So let me know. Get in touch, because it would be great to give you something back for helping us sort the place out and make it habitable again so people can stay there and you can stay there, because obviously I'm here most of the time in the UK. I'm here in the House of Parliament, but yeah, between that. Okay, so Andrew Ray says at least we can have the last 10-minute rant on Facebook and here separately. I don't know. The last 10-minute rant, are you talking about my rants after the Prime Minister's questions? Oh, I see. Graham, can we have the last excellent 10-minute rant on Facebook and here separately? Oh, okay, Andrew. Yeah, I'll try and download that. And listen, if there's any live videos that you want to rewatch, I might be setting them all to private pretty soon, because obviously these are all live. They're stream of consciousness, and sometimes I say things that I possibly shouldn't say, and I don't want to be putting myself in any jeopardy in any upcoming election if I'm involved in trying to get the Tories out, for them looking through my old videos and saying, oh, you called Boris Johnson a cunt, and therefore you can't go forward with anything that you want to do politically in your career. So I'm going to be a little bit cagey about that, but I might go through some of my old videos, download them, and just get snippets like the last 10-minute rant that you had there. So Andrew, I'll look into that. Remind me to do that, Andrew, if I'm on Ginger, because I'll have some time. The plan is we're just going to sit on the boat dock for a week. So okay. David wants to go to Panama with me. I don't think Catherine would allow that, my friend, I'm afraid. The coronation will erase memories and clean install. Oh God, I hope not. Really? No, I think at the Queen's funeral had suddenly seen a massive rise in popularity for the Tory party. I'd be like, yeah, good point, but it didn't, did it? In fact, it made them even more fucking unpopular, especially Kwasi Kwarteng fucking laughing at the fucking funeral. Jesus, looking like he was off his tits on Bolivian marching powder. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I am going to wrap up now if I find my Patreon page. So, thanks very much for watching. Thanks to my patrons. Thanks to my YouTube members. That sounds so wrong, doesn't it? Thanks to everyone who's gone for membership of YouTube. I've destroyed David's fantasy of going to Ginger Island. Sorry, mate. What had taken? And HK saying great stuff. Thank you very much, HK. Thank you very much to Andrew and QA Library and Jim Bob Robob and everyone else who's been watching. And I will see you next week on Ginger Island. Really looking forward to it. Hope I get over there all right. I mean, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong this year. So touch wood, I'll get to Ginger okay. But until then, I'll say thank you very, very much for watching. And until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.